Good morning, y'all. Happy Christmas Eve. If you happen to be watching this on the exact day I upload it is Christmas Eve right now, so put that out there to y'all. Okay, this video is about how to program crystals. Alright, not charging crystals. How to program them, like to do your bidding and to work with you, to do your will. So, I have a bunch of quartz crystals here. And I just love holding quartz crystals. I just love crystals in general, y'all. Like, I love crystals, okay? They're one of the main things that I use in my magic. Okay, so, charging crystals is a topic that is covered a lot on YouTube, I've noticed, and it's really easy to find information about charging crystals, okay? You can set them in the moonlight overnight on the full moon. You can set them in the sunlight, although be careful of setting certain darker stones in the sunlight, because if you do that and leave them in the sunlight for too long, they can actually be lightened. Like, for example, y'all. Okay, this is the amethyst crystal that I have, and it was actually darker when I bought it from the crystal shop, and you can actually tell, like, right directly on that corner. That's how dark this entire crystal once was. But I had it sitting in my windowsill for a long time, and like days of sunlight just went through it, and now it's like this light. Y'all, I suck at the directions on this laptop camera because it shows me a mirror image. Okay, or an opposite image, whatever. But anyways, so be careful of the darker stones that you set to charge in sunlight, because it will turn them lighter of color. Now, if you don't care about that, I didn't. I set this crystal in the windowsill to charge with sunlight anyways, because I did want the sun, solar energy in this crystal. So I went ahead and did it anyways. I'm just letting you know, as a cosmetic, aesthetic, if you want to keep your crystals dark, then, don't set those ones in the windows permanently or for a prolonged period, okay? Okay, so I actually want to show y'all some of the main crystals that I use in my practice, because as we get further into this little video series on crystals, because I'm doing this video, how to program your crystals, and next I'm going to do the video of how to utilize crystal grids in your magics to amplify your magic. So I just want to start off by showing y'all my crystals, my main ones. This is a rose quartz pyramid. I'm sorry about the lighting, y'all. I have my window, and it's kind of like making everything even lighter than it actually does look. But that's one of the main things I use in my practice at this time. I have this giant crystal, and I use it in my main practice when I'm doing circles and different things like that. This is what I put at the north. Okay. I just wanted to show y'all this. Okay. So now I'm just gonna show y'all my method for programming crystals, okay? And I just wanted to make sure y'all knew the difference between programming a crystal, to be aligned with your will versus charging it, okay? Once again, y'all can easily look up charging crystals. Putting it in the moonlight will give it a more subtle charge, as well as it's a receptive type energy because the moon is feminine, receptive, watery energy, and it's more gentle on the coloration of the stone being affected or not. It won't affect it. The sunlight is more projective, solar, masculine energy, and it's more harsh on the stone itself. Okay, so crystals grow in dark, wet, in caves and shit, or just in dark, wet areas. They grow in that. So that's why most witches prefer, whether they know it or not, that's why it's traditionally that you charge your crystals in the full moon's light. At nighttime, in the dark, preferably outside directly under the moon rays where the morning dew or the nightly dew comes and it's cold, wet, and dark, okay? It just gives it that revitalization to the crystals. Because crystals are alive, y'all. They're not just like a dead, non-living rock. Okay, crystals are alive. They grow. That's why I love crystals, because they're like a plant, so to speak, of the earth element entirely. They all contain different minerals and elements, and that all has an effect on what kind of power they have, what kind of energy. Okay, so y'all can do all kinds of research on that. I'm trying to keep this video about programming the crystals. So how I program crystals: you first need to have a basic understanding of energy work before you can program them using my method. So energy work is just like moving heat through your body. Okay, to demystify that, it's basically about moving heat through your body, being sensitive to the different energies. Heat is relative to energy, okay? So I'm trying to demystify this for y'all. You can practice by willing and tending to send energy to your hands, just trying to send heat, movement to your hands, okay? And you can do that by focusing on your breathing, focusing on your heartbeat and your heart rate, and just push that energy into your hand, okay? I don't really know how to explain this other than to just say try it, because you'll just get an intuitive understanding of how to do it when you try to do it. But you will be able to do it, okay, with practice, if not immediately when you first try it. But you need to be able to do that with both of your hands. It's almost, to really try to demystify it, it's about blood flow, okay? If you can get the blood to flow, in a concentrated way to your hands, then you're in business. And that's the biological step, is getting that heat to transfer from your body into the crystal, and that is your body's energy, okay? That is your life force to an extent. Y'all can look this up on the scientific level. Heat and movement and energy are all interrelated. Okay? They're all the same. They're all observations of the same life force principle. So you want to transfer that heat into your stone, and this might take longer or shorter depending on how well you have mastered controlling your body heat and that energy work. If you're really good at it, you can do this really fast and just transfer the heat into the crystal. If you're more of a beginner, it might take you longer, but either way, what you're looking for is to where the crystal will actually become hot. Okay, it will actually literally become heated up with your energy. Now, that's the peak goal that you're trying to reach. Now, in the process of that, while you're going towards that, while you're building up that energy, you're going to be focusing on your exact intentions of what you're trying to program that crystal with. Did y'all just hear that pop? Okay, but basically, I should have said at the beginning of this, make sure that you cleanse your crystal first of any previous. If you bought this secondhand, which most crystals are obtained like that, most these days, you don't just go in the field and obtain your crystal. You're usually buying it secondhand from something. You want to cleanse it before you use it. And y'all can look up the different methods of cleansing crystals if you don't already know. But make sure you cleanse it first before you try to program it with your own intention. Okay, so while it's heating up, you're focusing on your intention very clearly. What I do, I repeat my intention over and over again. So I try to make my intention summarize into like one sentence or two sentences that I can just repeat as a mantra. And either, you repeat it out loud with your mouth, which is vibration, which is another form of energy. You can just think it with your thoughts over and over again. That's another form of vibration energy, more subtle than vocalizing. And you want to put your emotional energy, invest your emotional energy into this as well. So whatever feeling that you associate with the intention, feel that and hold that feeling and emotion, and try to project all of that energy from all of those different things into the crystal through the transference of the heat energy, life force energy from your body into the stone. And just keep doing that. Until the stone is hot. And then you're basically done. You're in business, and that crystal is now programmed to do your will, to aid you in your will, okay? Because it's like a living thing, okay? It's almost like a familiar in and of itself, a familiar spirit. So don't abuse your crystals by treating them as something subservient to you. But, I view them as how I view pets. Okay? I treat them kindly and fairly, but they are mine, okay, in that way. So I train them, program them, whatever you want to call it. And that's how I do it. And after, damn, my hands are hot just in that little example. It's just like, that's how I test it, because whenever you get your hands really hot, you won't be able to tell if the crystal's hot anymore, because your hands are like hot. You like hold it to your cheek or some other part of your body that you weren't charging your energy, and you'll be able to tell like how hot the crystal really is, as well as how hot your hands are. Okay. Damn, my face is hot now right there where I touch the crystal. Okay, though, but you can do this with any crystals. I try to pick a crystal that resonates with my exact intention. You can look up your crystal meanings. And actually, an excellent book I recommend for crystals. This one, I don't know if it's going to be backwards to y'all. Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Crystal, Gem, and Metal Magic. Okay. This is a great book. It's an encyclopedia of all the different stones. Now, it doesn't have every single crystal in here. Honestly, it really doesn't. But it has the majority of the ones that you can easily obtain and find. And it tells you their energies. It also gives there's like other information in here. It tells you about different magics that you can do with stones and things like that. But it tells you the different associations to each stone. Like the planetary. See, like with crystal quartz, it tells you the planetary aspects, the different energies, the deities, the associated metals, the associated herbs, the powers, and then it goes into this long description of the magical use. Okay. And it's just a good book to have if you're a beginner with crystal magic. I'm considered like an adept with crystal magic at this point, how long I've been using it, but I still use this as a reference sometimes. So, just to like get a refresher. But it's a good book to have. It's the only book that I recommend on crystal magic at this point because it's the only one that I personally use. But, I don't know what's a good book for beginners because I did not start off with reading books. I started off with experimentation and looking at the tables of correspondences in witchcraft and seeing, like what stones associate to what powers and intentions and things like that. So I recommend that you look into that type of stuff. And then choose the crystal that to you, resonates with what you're wanting to program the crystal with. And don't just get a crystal, okay? Because if you just get a crystal, it will exert a general influence. But, really, you need to program them. You really do, to get them to work for you in the best possible way. All right? So I'm going to end this video, but I'll see y'all on the next video on how to make crystal grids and how to use that to amplify your magic. Okay, blessed be.